Hello, today I will be presenting a VBScript infection that utilizes Microsoft Office and Excel's built-in macro feature. This infection is going to ultimately give the attacker a Meterpreter shell. I will also be covering topics such as VBScript editing, social engineering, and how to properly channel your exploit file. I will also be doing a quick demo of a VBScript infection method on the Windows 10 machine within this video. So what is VBScript? VBScript is an active scripting language developed by Microsoft that is modeled on Visual Basic. It allows sysadmins to generate powerful tools for management with error handling, subroutines, and other advanced programming constructs. It can also give the sysadmin complete control over many aspects of their computing environment. Where is the vulnerability in VBScript? VBScript is not inherently vulnerable to attacks. Due to it being a popular macro language, the attacker can generate hexadecimal payload data that the macro will execute from within the infected document. The VBScript method mainly depends on the physical layer of the OSI model. This low-level attack relies on human recklessness in order to work. Due to the fact that the target must enable macros in the document for the attack to work, this attack can be completely avoided through proper education of malicious methods. The payload generator I will be using in the demonstration is MSF Venom. MSF Venom is a Metasploit standalone program that generates payload. The encoder I used with MSF Venom is Shikata Ganai, which is Japanese for cannot be helped. MSF Venom mixed with a good encoder can be undetectable to some antivirus, but with the use of some other software, the attacker can amp up their undetectability. Veil Evasion is a great alternative. Veil Evasion was developed to allow the attacker to change the signature of the payload. It also includes many other encoders that enable you to rewrite code to evade antivirus detection. Now that you know a little bit of the background of VBScript and the payload we're going to be using, let's head on into the video demonstration. To begin the VBScript infection, the attacker must generate a payload. They can do this by entering the following command. MSF Venom is a standalone payload generator. In this example, we are using the following flags: -A, --platform, -P, -E, and -F. The A represents the processor architecture. The platform we are using is Windows. The P represents Metasploit payload. The E represents our encoder, and F is the output format. For this VBScript infection, we will designate the payload as Windows Meterpreter Reverse TCP. We are using this payload so we can travel discreetly through TCP traffic and execute a shell once the user loads the document. The L host will be your attacking machine's local IP address, and the L port will be 8080. The encoder we are using is Shikata Ganai. This encoder uses a polymorphic XOR additive feedback encoder, and for our output type we are going to be using VBA-EXE. Once you get this command written out, you're going to want to go ahead and pipe this into a file. I'm going to pipe mine into payload.txt. Alright, once you get this completed, it will show up this message. I'm going to go ahead and cat payload.txt here, and you can see that it has a bunch of hexadecimal shellcode along with the VBScript infection. Once you have your payload.txt, you're going to want to go ahead and copy this macro code. And you're going to want to go over to a Word doc. Now, in the base Word doc, you cannot see the developer, so you have to open up the developer view. Go to Options, Customize Ribbon, and Developer. Once you have the developer, you're going to want to hit Visual Basic. And in here, you're going to want to go into this document. Now you're going to want to paste your macro code from the payload.txt and go ahead and save the file. And you're going to want to save the file as a macro-enabled document. Okay, once you get done with that, you got to copy and paste the payload data into your Word doc. Now this is where you have to do your social engineering. There are various ways to hide this, all of this hex data, all the shell code. Here's where the social engineering aspect comes into play. Instead of just sending a file with your payload data in it, you're going to want to go ahead and stack the file with some form or some document. This will give you enough time to migrate to another process as the user is distracted and they won't see this and then close the document. And once you're on a less volatile process, you can wreak more havoc on the user's computer. Now, delivering the infected document to the target can be one of the hardest things of this exploit. There are various methods you can use. For instance, this is a Facebook Messenger. Or you could create a fake web page by downloading a website page from their company and then exchanging the legitimate links with malicious links. For instance, replacing that link to download your document. Then you could go forward that web page to this user. Let's see what it looks like from the user's view. They receive the file and the link. The link won't work, but the file will. Before sending the document to the target, you're going to want to open up Metasploit. We are going to be using the exploit multi-handler. We're going to set the payload the same thing that we did in our MSF Venom, which is a Windows interpreter and reverse TCP. Show the options. We're going to set our L host to 192.168.1 and 104. I'm going to set the L port to 8080. And now we're going to run our listener. Now when the target opens up the file, it should send in our interpreter shell. Let's head on over to the target and see what they see. Quickly download the file, and we're just going to go ahead and open it. We don't need to save it. We're going to be acting as if we're in a busy work day. We're like, oh, okay, we need to edit this file. Enable content, and we can go in here and change our stuff that we need to do. It's a read only because we didn't save it, but we should have a shell, and we do. Sysinfo, Windows 10, build 14393, shows the computer name, domain, logged on users, 32-bit system, and that's that. Thank you for watching the video demonstration. I hope you learned a few things about the VBScript infection and methods to use it against targets. A few well-known attacks have used these methods. One is the Dridex malware, which stole over £20 million from various United Kingdom bank accounts. Do you want to take this attack a step further? A common form of attack is sending the target a zip folder through email spam and implementing an obfuscated JavaScript function that downloads malware, generates a shell, or anything else the attacker wants. This attack is not restrained to a Word doc or Excel spreadsheet, however. It can be implemented alongside programs.